Well, it's a very rainy day. I think that this is a perfect day to talk about keeping our camera equipment dry despite bad weather. The only reason why you'd want to go out there and film during this time, during adverse weather conditions like this, is because it gives you an atmosphere that you can't get any other time of day. It's supposed to rain all day and into the night, so I say it's a perfect time to test the weather sealing and the potential for some amazing atmosphere. Okay, so we arrived to our location, and I just wanted to cover a couple things, just show off some stuff before we dive into actually going out there. And one of the first pieces of equipment is an umbrella that I'm going to make sure I have. Now, this is not to keep me dry, this is keeping the camera equipment dry. I have a rain jacket that I'll be wearing, but if a real strong downpour comes down, having an umbrella is going to be really helpful. Same thing with these rain covers. Now, this one is a small, and then I also have a medium size. This is the one I will probably use on my DSLR to film with, but this allows me to basically film in almost any condition, and it's totally fine. Probably the most important thing to keep in mind is lens changes. If I'm going to be changing my lens on my DSLR, on my Fuji GFX, on my photo camera, I'm going to use myself as a cover, so that no possibility of rain getting in there. I do also have rain boots so that I can make sure that I stay nice and dry. So yeah, just wanted to cover a couple things that you probably want to have on your kit if you're planning on coming out in the rain, which, landscape photography, outdoor photography, nature photography, any of those types of things, even street photography, you will find yourself coming out in weather conditions like this. The other thing you're probably going to want to have is some kind of cloth to dry your lens glass with, just to keep all the little droplets. I'm going to Mr. Rogers it and switch out my shoes to the boots. Whoa. There's a full-on rock in my boot. That would be my daughter. I'm not sure where to put this little microphone thing. Also, I know it's silly, but I'm always taller than I expect when I frame up my shot. Okay. Getting a decent backpack that has something, some waterproof to it, whether that's a backpack like what I have, the Shimoda, which is, has waterproof fabric, or getting something that has a waterproof cover. Doesn't really matter, but having something is going to be an important thing as well. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I've been hiking for a while now, and that shot is too good to pass up. I'm gonna try to get my long lens on before the rain hits. All right, so what we've got going on right now is basically a little bit ago, there were some beautiful cloud formations up there, and now they've blown away because it's taken me so long to set things up and film and get everything going. So at this stage, I am just kind of waiting for something interesting to happen. While that's happening, while I'm waiting, just stick that like that. There's really only one framing because there's a power line on one side, power line on the other side, or a power tower thingy structure, whatchamacallit. Because I love the way the hills the clouds are just cascading over the hills. It's super cool. When it comes right down to it, weather is, I mean, it's the enemy of any kind of electronics. So because cameras are as technical as a computer now, any kind of weather can really damage it. So it's so important to have the right equipment, have the right quality of equipment if you're planning on coming out here. For instance, this Fuji has weather sealing in it all around all the gaskets and buttons and blah, blah, blah. The lenses are weatherproof, or weather resistant, but you just never know. So setting up your equipment ahead of time, testing it out in situations like this where it's not brutal, but minorly wet, is just a smart idea. So now I can have confidence that this camera will handle it and do just fine. Hopefully you can see my framing here. Just beautiful. And there's not really any other shots that I can see. And with that, I'm probably going to finish it off. Just hang out here a little bit longer, but I won't show you that. And meet you back at the van. Well, it's no wonder I keep sniffling. My nose is bleeding. One of the major things you want to consider at the next stage is, we were out there, out in the weather. Yes, it was wet. Yes, we were drying things off as we were going, making sure things didn't get wet inside, internally. But also, because it got cold, I think it probably dropped to the low 40s. You don't want to open up your camera bags as soon as you get home. Right now, they're acclimated to the cold. I've got two cameras that were out there, the one I'm filming with now and my photo camera. If I were to open them up, start just going through footage, really too excited to wait, what could potentially happen is you can get condensation on your sensor, behind the lens, in between glass, and that can affect the camera in some very negative ways, as you can imagine. So best practice. I'm going to pack this camera up once I'm done filming this closing, and I'm just going to leave them in their zipped up bags, probably for the next 6 to 8 hours, so I might not even open them up until tomorrow. That's going to ensure that I have no issues. They have time to slowly acclimate, and there's no worry of them getting any condensation. Now, inside the bags themselves, I have silica packets. Those like packets that you get things shipped to you with. I just save them, throw them in my camera bag, so if there was any moisture, it's gonna hopefully soak that up. I did dab it with, I have like 4 or 5 of these. One I'm using for my nose. I have like 4 or 5 of those that I've been using to dry things off as I put them in. So we should be completely fine to just leave them in there and not worry about it. You have to be able to take pictures in conditions like this, and hopefully the 1 or 2 photos I showed kind of display why. Weather like this is rare in my area, so the opportunity to go out, take pictures like that in the desert is fantastic, and hopefully it helped. If you did, let me know. And if you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe, click the bell icon, and yeah, other than that, I will have a video for you next week. Thanks so much, and I'll see you later. Thanks.